Hi, welcome. I am Melissa Mittelstaedt. I'm so happy that you're here at the Ordinary Summit. Big shout out to Jess for getting this set up and getting us all together. All right, so I am going to walk you through today really the financial strategy that shaped entirely how I went from checking my bank account every day, frustrated, anxious to like, okay, I like I like barely have to check my bank account. Things are on auto pay. I just go in when transactions, need to be verified, all that good stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you, and then let's get started. All right. Are we sick of riding the revenue roller coaster yet? I was. I absolutely was. And that's why we're here today. So we're gonna walk through four things in our few minutes together. Why I had to create faux stability, how I leveled up with cash reserves, getting 1 month ahead, and an open in case of an emergency fund. So Jess originally asked, like, what makes my business ordinary? And my response was, I'm running a solo business from an RV. Welcome to my RV with often shitty Wi-Fi. I'm a manifesting generator and I have just a million ideas going on at all times. I try to brainstorm those ideas with my husband, who is not an entrepreneur, and I realize that is the wrong approach. And I can't listen to music with lyrics while I work. I get a little too sing-songy and it gets me nowhere. Again, my name is Melissa Mittelstaedt. I am a financial consultant, and I'm here to support conscious solopreneurs. And when I say that, I mean mission-driven, purpose-driven folks who just like have this drive, who want to feel financially powerful. My designation is accredited financial counselor. I am a sign language interpreter as well. A lot of what we're talking about today really started, I've been running my own sign language interpreting business since 2008. So we'll be talking through all of that. I'm a sucker for threads. You can grab that there on the QR code. All right, faux stability. Now, why am I saying faux? Because I don't know a single business that knows exactly how much they're bringing in, exactly what's going out. It doesn't look like this, like a 9 to 5er's money looks like, right? Ours looks like this. But with some simple steps in place, we can create that look of faux stability to give us that illusion of, oh yeah, what we have going in and going out is stable. When I look back, I was riding the roller coaster and I wanted to be on the lazy river. 3 meals a day is better than feast or famine. Predictability is better than who the hell knows. Getting comfy with money is better than just burying my head in the sand. So typical business income causes uncertainty. You're unsure when to pay yourself and how much. For me, my household suffered because it's like I don't know what's going in. I don't know how much I'm contributing. It's just kind of like willy-nilly, right? My household was suffering. And then I was never sure of like, can I have this business expense? Yes or no? And so my business suffered. But with faux stable business income, it creates predictability where I could pay myself on a schedule. I could know exactly how much. Like I pay myself once a month. I know exactly how much. My household funds are happy. I know when I can hire that coach or that business service. My business funds are happy. Okay, so just to be clear, I want to make sure we're all on the same page. Stable business income, stable. Remember, faux stable business income is the bomb diggity. I'm just going to assume yes, we're all agreeing to that. Okay, so now let's talk about the first piece of that, cash reserves. So in the first step, it's like you have to figure out what you're working with. So looking back, I can't remember exactly how many months I looked at when I originally did this for myself, but when I work with clients, it's typically, 3 to 6-ish months. So I did a 6 month look back. Okay, what was the inflow coming in? And then what's the average of that? So of this, the average is 5,000. We'll go with $5,000 so we can approximate here. And then we look at, well, in that next month, if 6,500 comes in, then we have to take that minus the average. So that's 5,000. So 6,500 minus the average, which leaves us with $1,500. So when we think about cash reserves, we're thinking about the capital that we have available to us. So we would use $5,000 to pay for to pay ourselves, stock up our savings, and for business operations, and then $1,500 of that would be set aside for the cash reserves. So because that month you made above the average, you're setting money aside to be used later. Okay, so then what does it look like then the next month? Well, if you're below average, so let's say that next month you bring in 4,500, well, 4,500 minus 5,000 is negative 500, which means from your cash reserve pot, you'll be able to use $500 and still have $5,000 to pay yourself stock savings used for business operations. So enabling that ability to like have this pot of money set aside to be able to add to and use. So instead of the roller coaster, you create that faux stability. And what does it look like moving forward? Well, you can recalculate that average every 3, 6, 9, however many months, right? Depending on if you're in a really big growth streak or whatnot. But then you can recalculate that average. And then if you're really in a growth era where you're like, wow, all I'm doing is putting money into the cash reserves, I'm not ever having to use it. Well, then that's when it's time to pay yourself more and up how much the business is using. Okay, so that's the first part, cash reserves. The second part is getting 1 month ahead. So here's where I started. I'd make money, I'd spend money. It was just this, spiral of things felt haphazard and confusing and anxiety inducing. It felt like a juggling act. I just was like, I don't know, it's coming and it's going and it's coming and it's going. Well, to stop that cycle, I really had to just like put on the brakes and created a 1 month ahead fund. So the money that I made in September applied to October. The money I made in October applied to November. So that way, my bank account always had a cushion of money ready and available. So again, if my average is that $5,000, right? So my 1 month ahead would be that full $5,000. And then I didn't have to look to see, like, is there money in my bank account to pay things off? No, I just knew the money was there. Everything was set to auto pay. I didn't use a business credit card at the time, but now using a business credit card, right? You just put it all on your credit card and then auto pay off the business credit card, making it so much simpler and not having to check your bank account all the time. I love surprises, but certainly not when it comes to my money. So the in case of an emergency fund is what comes next. Trigger warning, we're going to go back to COVID era. So just hold on for just a second. I know that it's hard to think through, like, well, what would emergency look like? Why am I saving for that? We lived through that. I don't know what your COVID era looked like for me, but here's where I went wrong. I only had a household emergency fund. I didn't have one for my business. And so my reserves tanked. Did I apply for PPP loans? I did, but that was when they were only paying out on your net income, not your gross, which I tried to argue with my banker about that. He wasn't having it. So I got paid pretty much next to nothing. And so I slammed through my reserves. And what I'm working on now is the fix having 3 to 6 months of each business and personal. So right now, my goal is to have 6 month expenses in my business set aside for an emergency fund. Hint, hint, your 1 month ahead can be 1 month of that if you'd like it to be. And then 3 months for personal. And the reason why I have lower for personal is because my husband has a W-2 job. And so having that stability kind of like bakes in a little bit there. Um, and the reason why, I'm going to just go back real quick for a second. The reason why 3 to 12 really seems like such a gap really is you have to think through like, is your business a high volatility business? Then you might want to have more. Do you have any W-2 income in your household at all? Well, then you might need less. And just your own comfort level. I have some clients who are like 3 months feels great to them. And then I have some clients who are like, I want a full year to know that if anything happens, I get sick, another pandemic, anything, right? I've got a full year's worth. Okay, so let's put it all together. The faux stability income strategy, cash reserves. Get yourself to that stable level place by having a fund of money that you can fund and use and fund and use. Then getting yourself 1 month ahead so your bank account builds up and you're not constantly checking, and then get that emergency fund in place. Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of this case study. If you want to chat about getting your extraordinary business financially powered up, that QR code will take you directly to my website. The Done With You services that I offer, financial systems checkup, just so we can really get under the hood, see what your financial systems look like. And I also have one-on-one consulting. Thank you so very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the summit.